We have made it to Thursday. Welcome in. This is Three Man Front. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. As we continue our preview for the upcoming weekend, a lot of really great SEC action, not to mention the fact that you got Oregon visiting Penn State, another big one for the potential who's going to represent the Big Ten, or maybe the champion of the Big Ten as they get to the college football playoff. Peter Rauterkus is going to join the show coming up at the bottom of the hour, talk a little Auburn football as they're heading down to College Station to Kyle Field. Rodney Orr from Tider Insider, former Auburn DB Rob Pate, and the Southern gentleman, Brett Norsworthy, will be along with, I'm sure he'll have his I ain't scared bold prediction. He sent me a text yesterday. I already know where he's going with the Ole Miss LSU game. I will not disclose that, but I'm sure
I hope he agrees with me.
He will discuss that in full detail coming up a little bit later in the show. But we start, as we do most Thursdays, with the initial injury report in regards to Alabama and Auburn. And no big surprise, Conrad, in which Alabama, Jamarian Latham out, will not play. Jeremiah Beeman will not play. That's not a shock whatsoever. Listed as probable, Danny Lewis, the tight end, and Tim Keenan III. I believe both of those guys will be playing.
Yeah, and I mean, Kane Womack said earlier in the week that Keenan was going to go. I think it's just a question of, is he going to be on a snap count? Is he going to be fully available? Is he at, 80%, 90%, 100%? So we'll have to see on Saturday for that. But the good news is Jam Miller not mentioned on there at all. And as, we talked about yesterday, he has been fired up at practice this week. So that's a good sign that he's all good to go.
For Georgia, they listed 3 players that will not participate. Tight end Ethan Barber, offensive lineman Malachi Tolliver, and wide receiver Thomas Blackshear. Doubtful is offensive lineman Ernest Green III. So that's the Georgia list. Meanwhile, for the Auburn Tigers, as they visit College Station to take on the Fighting Aggies, we already knew yesterday that Horatio Fields had broke his foot at practice. He is out indefinitely. He was on the list along with Darrell Robinson. The leg injury that Robinson has is going to keep him out of the game. Questionable, Amaris Williams, Connor Lew. Connor Lew got banged up in the Oklahoma game, but he came back towards the back end of the game. So we'll see if he's a full go. And probable, Malcolm Simmons, Caleb Harris, Jeremiah Cobb, and Jay Crawford. So not that long of a list for Auburn injuries. And as far as Texas A&M goes, now keep in mind they had a bye. So anybody that was kind of banged up a little bit in the Notre Dame game, they were able to kind of lick their wounds and get a little bit more refreshed as they got ready for Auburn. Bryce Anderson, the safety, he is out, will not play. And questionable is Scooby Williams, the linebacker.
Yeah, Auburn being at close to full strength. I know some of the injuries that you mentioned with guys that are lost either for the next, the foreseeable future or for the season, but yeah, that's not bad, especially after going to Norman, Oklahoma. And the good news for Auburn is after this game, you've got a week to rest and kind of get things back together before going back to Jordan-Hare to take on Georgia. So if you're Hugh Freeze right now, reality in the SEC and playing the schedule that they've already played, you'll take it.
So we'll have plenty of previews of both of those games coming up. As I mentioned, Peter Rauterkus, who covers the Auburn Tigers for AL.com, he'll join us coming up at the bottom of the hour. Well, we didn't go very long without having the next college football playoff discussion. What's going to happen? They're meeting in Chicago, Illinois, and it was reported last night that the Power Conference commissioners are now exploring a new working group made up of their own athletic directors, 2 to 3 from each of the Big Ten, SEC, ACC, and Big 12, to consider a variety of options for the college football playoff format. And this just continues just to infuriate those around college football, how these people cannot get in a room and agree to anything. So now several Big Ten school administrators are socializing a concept to grant each power conference an equal number of automatic qualifiers. Are you ready for this? Up to 20 teams.
Wow.
For a college football playoff. However, administrators caution that such a format must garner the approval of the Southeastern Conference, because if you remember, all the power was ceded to the Big Ten and the SEC. So the Big Ten and the SEC, they have to agree on this. In this concept, all 4 power leagues would be granted the same number of automatic bids. Perhaps 3 or 4 with 1 or 2 spots designated for the Sun Belt, Pac-12, Mountain West, CUSA, American, and MAC. There would be a pool of as many as 6 at-large selections, and the format would feature 24 teams in the college football playoff.
Not a fan of it. Just not a fan initially, just hearing that and reading it. If we're going to expand, and I'm all about expanding, if you want to put 24 teams in there, put 24 teams in there. But let the rankings kind of dictate that. I don't want to have to take let's give an example. A few years ago, I don't want to have to take a 8-4 Northwestern to put in my college football playoff. Maybe not the best example, but no, let the rankings decide it. Let's not have the second best team from the Mountain West because they're in the Mountain West and they finish second. And that year it's just a overall top to bottom horrible league.
I just don't understand what was wrong with 5-11. I thought we had gotten to a point where generally that was accepted that, okay, yeah, we'll move forward with that idea, but you needed the SEC mainly and the ACC to get on board with the 9 conference games, and they did that. Mm-hmm. So this is just frustrating for me because I felt like once you kind of bent the knee on, hey, we'll do an even playing field, we'll all do 9 conference games, they still can't come to a decision on what the college football playoff is going to look like.
And the counter to my argument would be somebody saying, well, no, we're going to give everybody the equal number of automatic bids, and if you're so sure of your league, then the rankings will have your teams in the college football playoff. But no, I'm fine with expanding it to 20 or 24, but not that many guaranteed automatic qualifiers for every stinking conference in America.
And if you go that route, you will do away with conference championships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like there will not be any more championship games.
And I hate that too.
They just will not exist. It's also interesting that it was reported, and it's been very tight-lipped, held close to the vest, but apparently last month, the Big Ten floated the idea of 28 teams in the college football playoff. And the SEC said, no, thank you. What are we doing? 28 teams? Just put all 136 in. We'll have an NCAA basketball tournament.
Now that's an idea.
And you start playing in 1st of November to wrap up by January 1st. So it's crazy that the Big Ten proposed a 28-team proposal. Needless to say, the SEC and the league presidents were like, nah, we're not even having that conversation.
If you didn't have automatic qualifiers, then that is almost half of how many Power 4 teams we have.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the idea of 16 because it's going to keep expanding, right? It's not going to decrease. It's not going to stay at 12. But there's not 12 teams that can win a national championship in a given year. There's certainly not 24 or 28. But yeah, whatever. We'll just give everybody a participation medal, and they can feel good because they made the playoff and went 8-4.
And while we might be getting more parity at the top, there's not a whole lot of parity when it comes to non-Power 4s. You got a Power 4 versus a non-Power 4. Just going to go ahead and tell you, there's not that much because those guys that are showing out at the non-Power 4 schools, most of them, the very next season, they're on the Power 4 roster.
Well, and you'll have a year where, let's say, a Boise State or I guess they're in the Big 12 now, but you know what I'm saying, a Memphis, they'll win a game in the playoff, right? And it'll be a big deal. You will never have a group of 5 team win a national championship in this format. It will never happen. It is a waste of a spot in the college
Not the way
football
it's structured
playoff.
right now
It's
with money and how rosters are built. No.
You're doing it so they feel good about them. I mean, seriously, I'm not trying to be ugly to the
No,
group of 5,
you're
but
you're being fair.
they are never going to win a national championship. So why are we giving them a guaranteed spot so that they can feel? I mean, you're giving somebody essentially a bye in the first round of the playoff.
That's why if the money, if you could find a way to generate what would be not equal but more than a fair share of revenue and a pot of money for another playoff, a non-Power 4 playoff, and you were able to do that and have some kind of media rights deal and TV package around it, which you would obviously have, I think that a lot of those schools would vote for that before they would vote for one of these other cockamamie ideas that have been thrown out.
I just don't understand
It's
why.
realistic.
You get in a room and you try to hammer out what you can do for a 16 or an 18, but to just completely go past all of those ideas, and now you're wasting time with a working group of athletic directors amongst the conferences to literally have a discussion about a 28-team college football playoff. What are we doing? So get ready, because next year we'll remain at 12. Because there's no way that these people are going to come to a decision. And here's the other funny part. Not funny, it's sad. So Rich Clark, the executive director, General Clark, the executive director, he talked to the media in Chicago, and he said, yeah, we basically didn't even discuss like the 2026 model for the college football playoff. We spent all of our time talking about what the Big Ten wants to do. I mean, it's like the Big Ten keeps moving the goalposts for everybody else, as opposed to let's just concentrate on getting 12 or 16 right. But instead, they're just zooming past every other idea. And now they're coming up with another crazy idea of 28.
And at the same time, guess who has the upper hand now when it comes to the playoff? It's the Big Ten, because they're the only conference that's not requiring their teams to play a 10th Power 4 opponent.
Isn't that funny how that works out? How
it is
just
funny how that
about
works
3
out.
months ago, you had Bielema, Signetti, they're slamming the SEC, they're slamming all the other conferences, and now they're the ones that's going to take the easy way out. Because even the ACC is going to play the exact same situation that the SEC has agreed to.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. So get ready. 2026 will be 12 teams, just like this year. And who knows what's going to be in 2027.
So the deadline...
December 1st.
December 1st, okay.
Yes.
I couldn't remember if it was beginning or end of December.
They have to tell ESPN by December 1st, like, what are we doing for 2026?
So you basically got 2 months.
Yeah.
Because nothing's getting done over Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And you're in the busiest time of the year with football season for all these athletic directors, and you want to sit me on a committee. Like, I got time during the week to worry about Zoom calls about a potential 28-team college football playoff that the Big Ten wants. It's just bizarre. Just never thought we'd be sitting here almost in October and still had no idea what we're doing in the college football playoff.
Well, how soon you forget, Pat? We got to do what's best for all of college football.
Just put them all in. If that's what it is.
Isn't that truly what's best?
I mean, if
Don't even play a season. Just start with the playoff. Every team's in, and it's just elimination every week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like government subsidies. It's like welfare. Just put every college football team on welfare so everybody can have it, and just let them all play. That's what it is.
Go fight, win.
Yeah. And speaking of that, now the FCS, schools like Sanford, they also had a meeting in Chicago this week. Now they're exploring new models for their postseason, including a college football playoff-like concept that privatizes the playoff. There's an equity firm that wants to basically put forth the money to run a postseason tournament with FCS teams and not go through the NCAA, but this playoff would be run, and I think it's called Sequence Equity. It's an investment firm focused on human optimization in sports that recently launched a sports fund targeting athletic adjacent businesses. So now they want to invest money, and the FCS has a playoff, and they will pay for it, and they will incentivize NIL in schools and players.
So you make the FCS playoffs, you get a payday that you can then distribute to
Correct.
build your roster. I like that.
A private equity firm is willing
that.
to put up this money to fund it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think a private equity firm would balk at a non-Power 4 playoff?
No.
No.
If they're talking FCS.
No.
Mm-mm.
It's the way forward. It's just a matter of how long it takes to get to that point. And before people are willing to accept that, okay, yeah, we need to take a step down because it's what's best for us. Because right now I think a little bit of it's ego, right? You want to compete with the big boys, and you can't. You just can't.
When you've got a school like Oklahoma State who had someone like T. Boone Pickens who was alive and gave almost every dime he had to that university, and they succeeded for a good portion of the 20 years that Gundy was in charge of that program, and look how irrelevant they have become in the NIL era
Yeah.
in the last 2 years. And you mean to tell me that a group of 5 team is ever going to be able to put themselves in a position to battle the Ohio States or the Texases or the Georgias or Alabamas of the world? That ain't happening.
Or even some of the mid tiers that you're not mentioning. You're mentioning the elites and the schools that are spending top dollar. Well, there's another step down from there and probably another step down from there. And then the bottom. They can't compete with the next to the bottom.
You saw Akron up close and personal a couple weeks ago. And I'm not crapping on Akron. I'm just giving an example. Almost every year, Akron is rated as one of the worst FBS programs. Why they continue to play football at this level, I guess the MAC makes them. I don't know. But you saw that. You went from seeing Akron and seeing the University of Tennessee, the compare and contrast how you saw those two programs up close and personal. And I'm talking about the support staff. I'm talking about the equipment. I'm talking
everything.
about just everything across the board.
It would be the equivalent of going from Mars to planet Earth.
Yeah.
It's two totally different worlds.
Yeah. So for all those out there that are screaming about, the group of 5, you just need to have your own playoffs.
Look at the far sideline and look at the guy who's running third team. He looks different. That guy he looks a little bit different. A little bit different. So. Watch him in warm-ups. Yeah, those guys look different. Yeah, it's not close.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with the FCS now talking to private equity firms about their playoffs. And now the Big Ten wants 28 teams in the college football playoff.
More the merrier.
Oh, yeah. Just put them all in.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, Miss Big Ten. What do you think about your conference trying to
Don't look at me. I'm not Tony Petiti. Just a graduate. Let's just go back to the BCS.
Hey.
I mean, at this point, let's give Haley Sawyer the vote.
With 28 teams, Nebraska would get in.
You know what? I'm all for it.
That's what I thought.
Let's let Haley Sawyer pick the 2018 field.
Let her be the CFP executive director.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
That'd be fun.
Peter Rauterkus is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. This is the Thursday edition of 3-Man Front. I want to tell everyone we're going to be live at Twin Peaks in Hoover tomorrow from 10 until 2. So come on out and see us tomorrow as we'll be live from Twin Peaks in Hoover broadcasting the show. So hope to see you there. This is 3-Man Front on Thursday on Jocks. 10:22 on Jocks. Reminder, we'll be at Twin Peaks tomorrow in Hoover. Stop on by and see us. We'll be there broadcasting the show from 10 until 2 o'clock.
Well, it's that season when you may be running the AC during the day, but the heat at night, and that stress on your home comfort system is why you need a Train. They've been named America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, so that you know you can count on the reliability of a Train to keep your home and your family comfortable for years to come. So go and find out more. Visit train.com.
So we're getting predictions. They continue to roll in over the last 24 hours in regards to the big games this weekend for Alabama and Auburn. We told you yesterday that Colin Gay from the Tuscaloosa News, he's got Georgia winning 35-28. Tim Watts, publisher of Bama Online, he's got Bama 27-25. Landrum told us about College Football News, Georgia 31-27. Josh Pate from On3, Georgia to cover. Did not give us a score. We had Danny Cannell on the show yesterday from CBS Sports HQ. He likes Bama to cover and the over in that game, but did not go the route of giving us a score as well.
He just wants Florida State's resume to look better.
Give me that total again. What was that total?
52.5.
Okay. Yeah.
This morning, the Athens Banner-Herald posted their prediction. Georgia 34-27. Yesterday, Chris Hummer from 247 and CBS Sports HQ, along with Brad Crawford of 247, they both predicted Georgia to win. Hummer had the Bulldogs 28-27. Brad Crawford, Georgia 31-27.
It's a popular score this week.
We'll get Mike Rodak's prediction tomorrow, but two of his teammates at Bama 247, they have posted their predictions for the game. Alex Scarborough went Georgia 41-38. Brett Greenberg from Bama 247, he's got Bama 33-27. So he's got Bama winning. We'll hear from Rodney Orr coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on that game. So
as the Clark County Police Department, have they given their prediction for the game?
I have not seen that yet on social media.
They know this team well.
They really do know them well.
Well, they used to know them well. Not so much anymore.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Auburn-Texas A&M game, some predictions that have been posted by writers, those that cover the sport. Josh Pate, the aforementioned, he's got Texas A&M to win and cover. So, again, no score.
So, Texas A&M wins 8-0.
Pretty much. Yep. A touchdown, they went for two, and they shut Auburn out. 8-0. Nathan King from Auburn Undercover's got A&M 38-28. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover's got A&M winning 24-17. Chris Hummer from 247, A&M 34-27. Brad Crawford, A&M 29-24. ESPN Analytics say the Aggies have a 68% chance of winning the game, and they will win by 5. So that would be inside the number for Vegas perspectives. And College Football News has got A&M winning 30-23. So I'm yet to see anyone pick Auburn to get the victory.
Just wait for better or forget it. Conrad, I've kind of been watching him this week. He is really high on the Tigers.
I think they have a better chance this week than they did last week. I'll say that.
Hopefully a better officiating crew.
Well, fair. But we talked about it last week. I think we agreed that the Oklahoma game was probably going to be the least likely win for them. So this would be a more favorable matchup.
I'll be the first to say, and I'm not going to give away my pick. I like Auburn in this spot. I really do.
Little chip on their shoulder now?
I think so.
Do you like Auburn in this spot?
I will not be picking Auburn to win the football game.
That is breaking news here on the show.
What?
If I thought they were going to win, I would pick them, but no. I don't.
So not even in the points.
You're
spread?
right there with the people that cover the Auburn beat. So there's no reason to question your judgment.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the point spread. We'll save that for tomorrow. But no, it's tough, man. Those receivers are really, really good for Texas.
I mean, Nathan King thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game, 38-28.
What's the point total on that one? Do you have that in front of you?
It's like 53.5.
50. Okay, I was about to say. I thought it was close to Alabama, Georgia total.
Mm-hmm. Very close.
I could see it being high scoring.
I don't know. I think Auburn's defense is going to hold that point total down a little bit.
Don't let Mario Craver run wild on you. probably be okay.
It's 53 is the
53?
point total.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. LSU Ole Miss is currently 55.5.
I go back to what was it? Trey Wallace. I'm trying to remember who told us. This will not be the defense. I think seeing the Oklahoma defense that they saw last week, and then seeing this Texas A&M defense, Oklahoma's just that good. I think it lends to Auburn having a lot more success offensively.
They should be able to run the football.
They should be able to throw the football. Who gets enough stops? Turnovers. Can they protect the ball? They did it last week.
I just wonder if it's going to be – was it the South Carolina game last year where we were kind of making fun because didn't Ryan Williams have like 20 targets in that game or something? We were just like, okay, maybe you're going a little overboard with how many times you're trying to get him the ball. I feel like maybe for Auburn you're going to have that with Cam Coleman. I don't think that's a bad idea though, but I'm curious. I mean, are you going to give him about 15 target? Because I mean, seriously, he's a physical nightmare.
The ones
Just
that you
throw it
missed
up
on, the
for him.
double move that should have been a touchdown, it was an overthrow. You had the double pass where he's open and he's got a guy draped around his waist starting at the 10-yard line.
I mean, he had 2 catches last week that should have been pass interference, and he still caught it.
He's not impossible to defend, but
He's about the closest you can get to that.
all things being equal, 95% of the time I'll take Cam Coleman in those one-on-ones.
Yep.
Are you seeing cracks in your foundation or your doors and windows sinking, I should say? These are all just minor problems. They're signs of serious issues that's only going to get worse, and that's why APS can help you today. Call them 205-951-9717. The fluctuation of the temperatures from the humidity to the heat. Now we're going to probably get a cold front coming in the next week or so. So that's going to lead to those problems with your door jams and, of course, the window seals. So call Alabama Professional Services, 205-951-9717. They can also fix the foundation. They can tackle the sinking driveway or patio with their fast and clean poly-level system. The number again, 205-951-9717, or just go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. Been around since 1977. Local company that's ready to help you today at 205-951-9717.
Peter Rauterkus, who covers the Auburn Tigers, probably about to put a wet blanket on everything I just said about them. He's next.
It is 10:33 here on Jocks. Welcome back into the program. AL.com's Peter Rauterkus joins us now on the Higginbotham hotline as the Auburn Tigers head to the great state of Texas, taking on the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies. Peter, I hope you're doing well, man. Just a heck of a run here, back-to-back games for the Auburn Tigers, coming off that tough loss on the road and now back on the road again, playing a Texas A&M team coming off a very impressive win against Notre Dame.
Yeah, no, first of all, thanks for having me. And yeah, no, obviously another tough game for Auburn. Doesn't really get much easier in the SEC. We're going from a tough game at Oklahoma to now, like you said, I mean, facing a Texas A&M team that's coming off a bye. Just had a good win against Notre Dame, so going to be another tough one in another really tough environment as well.
How much does Horatio Fields and how they use him, or maybe some of the unsaid and things that he does away from the ball, how much does that hurt this offense?
It definitely hurts. I mean, he's not the number one guy in terms of, who's going to lead the team in yards or, beat you down the field. I mean, that's been Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton. But as Hugh Freeze described, he's really been the leader of that room despite just getting here this offseason. I mean, he's been around college football for a while. One thing that I've always noticed about him is he's a guy that if you're a quarterback, you can trust. He's got really strong hands, doesn't drop many passes, a really good target on third downs. We've seen Jackson Arnold connect with him on some third downs with the stick. So just losing a guy who's just really been super reliable, I think that's what Auburn's losing at it. And I think they're going to feel it.
Of course, we do this every day, Peter, and I know you write about it, but we heard a lot from the fans as the week progressed after the loss at Oklahoma, especially the officiating. But you being around the football team, how quickly were they able to put that in the rearview mirror and kind of look ahead to Texas A&M? Because with this schedule being the gauntlet that it is, you can't waste a lot of time thinking about what could have been in Norman.
Yeah, I think they were definitely disappointed. I mean, Hugh Freeze said on Monday that they sent quite a few plays from last Saturday to the SEC office, but at the same time, there's just you don't have time to, keep thinking about what happened last week or what was out of your control last week. I mean, when you've got a team like Texas A&M up next and you've got to go there, that's what you got to shift your focus to. And from what I can tell, it seems like they've done that. It seems from what players and what Hugh Freeze has said that they're focused on this week, and they've kind of fleshed out what happened at Oklahoma.
Peter, what have you been able to gather from the coaching staff and being there around the building as far as the game plan and the play selection offensively against the Oklahoma Sooners? You had a lot of passes where it was deep shots. You had Jackson Arnold at times. It looked like maybe an RPO would have been called, and he chose to maybe do something else. What have you been able to gather? Because you had Jeremiah Cobb that busted off the long run, but other than that, he and Austin just didn't get that many carries.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be that much different other than, you kind of just hinted at it. I think they are going to try to run the ball more. I mean, Hugh Freeze said in his press conference on Monday that, he should have forced the run a little bit more against Oklahoma. I mean, I want to say if you take out the sack yardage, they averaged about 4.3 yards per carry. Now, that's also a lot of that came on the one big run from Jeremiah Cobb that you mentioned. But I mean, we saw in the first 2 weeks, Auburn ran the ball really well against Baylor, which, probably still not the caliber of defense that definitely not Oklahoma is, probably not what Texas A&M is either. They ran the ball for 300 yards. I think they are going to want to get back to that a little bit, but I also don't expect the deep shots to stop. I mean, I wrote an article about it this morning. I mean, Texas A&M has been a little bit susceptible to that so far. I want to say they've allowed 10 pass plays of 20 yards or more through 3 games this season. Through 4 games, Oklahoma's allowed 5, and Auburn had plenty of chances to take the top off in that game as well. Some they converted, some they didn't. So I don't expect that aspect of the game plan to change.
Well, one thing's for sure, we know about Marcel Reed being the kind of quarterback that he is. They got a couple of wideouts that's putting up some incredible numbers so far early part of the season. As you look at this Auburn game plan, you're just talking about them running the football, but defensively speaking, DJ Durkin's defense, one of the best in the nation, especially against the run. How do you think they'll be able to combat Marcel Reed and those talented wideouts?
Yeah, I mean, that offense is a lot to handle. I mean, Hugh Freeze talked about it. I mean, we've seen it. They've got a quarterback who can beat you both ways. They've got a running back who's one of the best in the SEC, in Le'Veon Moss. And then obviously Craver and Concepcion, probably the 2 best receivers in the league right now. Definitely Craver. I mean, leads the league in receiving yards, had a huge game against Notre Dame. And it's against an Auburn secondary that's been banged up. They've played well against Oklahoma, but they've had some bad moments at times. So it's going to be difficult, I think, in terms of slowing down Marcel Reed. Like you mentioned, I think having the type of personnel Auburn has at linebacker helps. I think this will be a big game for guys like Xavier Atkins and guys like Marcus Riddick, who we've seen, be really good sideline to sideline, seen using kind of these spirals before. So I think those guys can be really important in not letting Marcel Reed beat you.
How did the offensive line play versus Oklahoma and Jackson Arnold and Auburn being sacked, 10? I forgot how many times. It was double digits. But from what we saw with the offensive line, how much of that was on Jackson Arnold? How much of that was on the offensive line?
I think it was definitely a combination of both. Hugh Freeze suggested on Monday that it was kind of split 50-50, between plays that were the offensive line's fault, plays that were Jackson Arnold not getting the ball out fast enough. And I think regardless of what the issue was, it's not going to get much easier this week. Texas A&M's got a good pass rush. Cassius Howell's the guy who's got, I want to say, 9 pressures through 3 games. He's got 3 sacks. He's probably their best guy coming after the passer. And, I think it's a big thing with Jackson Arnold is just trusting those receivers to win some of those one-on-one routes, trusting those reads and just letting the ball go sometimes. And also in pocket, some better pocket presence. Remember there was one instance where, he got sacked and, it looked like he was just standing in the same spot for 4 seconds on that, sack from Mason Thomas. So I think there's room across the board for improvement, and they're going to have to stay in this game on Saturday.
Peter Rauterkus joins us for a few more minutes from AL.com as the Auburn Tigers get ready to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. In regards to a high output in scoring in this game, do you think this is going to be more of a defensive battle going into the second half, or do you think both offenses will get rolling and we might have a shootout?
I see this one being higher scoring than last week. I think this is just a game where both offenses kind of match up well against the defenses they're facing. I wrote about it today. I think this is a much better matchup for Auburn's offense than Oklahoma was. But then, the Texas A&M offense is really good as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends in the 30s, maybe even as high as the 40s. But I don't see it being the same kind of game like Oklahoma where it's slow, points are hard to come by. There's, I think, 10 punts. I don't see that kind of game happening this week.
Peter, how much would a Auburn win in College Station Saturday change your projection for the Tigers this season?
It would be huge. We were talking to Jackson Arnold on Tuesday, and, he was saying how just much it would mean to be 4-1 versus 3-2 going into the bye week, and then you've got Georgia. I think the mood and the vibes around the fan base and around Auburn would be infinitely better if you go into the Georgia game 4-1. In terms of my projection, I always thought that this 3-game stretch was going to be really tough, and it wouldn't surprise me if Auburn lost all 3 games. So I don't know that a loss here changes much. I think how it happens and how the game goes, determines a lot more of that. If Auburn goes in there and just lays down and gets blown out, then yeah, I think there's a lot of reason to be concerned. But even if they do lose and it's another game like last weekend, I don't know that it changes much about how I feel about this team for the rest of the season.
That is Peter Rauterkus. You can follow his work there at AL.com. Peter, always appreciate your time. Should be a good one down in College Station. Hope to catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. That's Peter Rauterkus joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, it's Thursday. That means we get football on TV, and that means that the Fennec is the place for you tonight. The Fennec's your front row seat to the best entertainment, massive screens, explosive sound from every seat in the house. You got great things on the menu, like the wood-fired grilled burgers and the wings that are selling like hotcakes. Talked to a craft the other day, and he said people are just raving about our new wings. Also, you've got fork and knife, whether it's steak or fresh Gulf seafood. You can choose from handcrafted cocktails. Got a 6-day schedule that includes live acoustic acts Wednesday through Friday. So that means this evening from 5:30 to 8, followed by live bands at 10 o'clock on Fridays. And then you get Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays dedicated to sports with no live music to get in the way. Tonight, you got college football, Army at East Carolina. They'll have that one on, as well as the NFL with Seattle at Arizona. It's the Fennec. Check them out, 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park.
More three-man front on this Thursday. Calls are welcome, 1-800-239-WJOX. The Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. It's 10:47 here on Jocks. You know, the NFL, they decided that they were going to allow private equity firms to invest in the football teams. Up until about a year ago, they never did that, ever. Well, the Bills have already taken advantage of it. The Chargers and the Dolphins, all three of those teams, they are taking money from private investment firms that are, basically they're selling a portion of their team to the private equity firm so they can get more capital, and it helps the valuation of the individual NFL franchise. Well, this is kind of interesting. So since 1994, the New England Patriots, the Kraft family, they have owned 100% of that franchise. Obviously, Robert Kraft and his son, the Kraft family. Well, word just came out that they are selling 8% of the New England Patriots to a private investment firm. And because of this investment, the New England Patriots are now going to be valued at over $9 billion.
Woo! Really?
$9 billion.
Wow.
Okay. What were they prior to that?
I mean, they were up there, but they weren't $9 billion.
No.
Now, the Boston Celtics, they sold for what, $6 billion during this offseason? Something like that?
That sounds about right. It was a lot of money.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty big. So now 4 NFL teams, the Patriots, Bills, Chargers, and Dolphins, have now taken money from private investment firms.
I just pulled this really quick, so take it for what it is. But it said the Patriots had a franchise value of approximately $7.3 to $7.4 billion in 2024.
They're still coasting on the glory days, aren't they, with that valuation?
Well, you think they put that 12-foot beautiful statue up?
That's a good point.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But the story that came out, they said they will now be valued at over $9 billion.
It's just kind of funny that 3 of the 4 teams that are doing that are in the same division.
Yeah.
Just a weird coincidence.
But sorry to stereotype, but yeah. But you look at kind of that part of the country and kind of I don't know, makes sense.
And on top of that, with the Bills building the stadium that they're building.
Yeah. That thing's $2.1 billion.
Yeah, they need the
Now, again,
money.
a lot of that is public money because, Mike Rodak was talking about that last week, about how a lot of people in Western New York not pleased about a lot of their tax paying money going to a dome stadium for the Bills.
Good for you, Bobby Kraft. I guess that's good for him.
It's not bad for him.
Nah, he's going to get his.
I mean, $7.5 billion and $9 billion, I mean, once you get into the billions, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know that world. I can't even pretend in that world what that looks like. Or how you just think about everything. And some days I'm really glad that I don't. Most days I'm really glad that I don't.
I was about to say, it seems like it would be nice, but I don't know if you'd want all that responsibility.
They don't all look super happy, do they?
No, they don't. No, they do not.
Interesting. The text line. Some people are happy. Some people are sad. Some people are mad. And some people are just downright funny. 205-834-9450. Let's start off with this one. Something positive. D.A. Hugh Sleaze refuses to run the ball. Thank you, Mark.
Thought we were starting off on a positive note.
Maybe he'll run the ball more. That would be a positive.
Maybe he will.
This one, Cam Coleman looks a lot like Kevin Norwood or Mike Evans.
I don't hate the Mike Evans comparison. It worked pretty well for Johnny Manziel, just throwing it up there to him.
Bama hater. Will Social Taco be the gathering spot if Georgia beats Bama? And will non-Bama fans be allowed to express their joyful noise on air or put on hold for some dumb retirement announcement? Whoa. That was breaking news, Bama hater. We still love you, though.
Also, Alabama
but
didn't
stand
play
by our
last
decision
weekend.
to put you on hold. Huh?
But also, Alabama didn't play last weekend, so it's not like we were avoiding that to talk about Bruce Pearl's retirement.
No. And yes, everyone is welcome at Social Taco. Rain, win, lose, draw, rain, shine, whatever. Travis texts in. He says Auburn by 10 points over A&M.
That'd be big. Be very big.
It quit being about football years ago. All the people that make the decisions are there to make as much money as possible. The sport we all loved is dead and gone. That's still somewhere underneath all those dollars.
See, but when you wake up on a Saturday morning and you turn on your TV, you forget about all of that.
I do at times.
Because you're just enjoying the games. And the quality of the games is spectacular now. But I agree, everything else around it is frustrating.
You forget about it, and then when your guy makes a boneheaded play or a mistake that costs your team a game, then you remind yourself that that guy might have more money in his portfolio than you do. And then you get angry again.
What's his NIL valuation?
And then you carry that rage until the next Saturday morning when you're excited again and you forget about it.
I'm really sad. We haven't gotten any Ryan Williams texts this week, have we?
Nope. Georgia guy, you're on the clock.
I'd like at least one before Saturday. It should be good luck.
Going back to the rankings, Kelly says leaving to the rankings allows people, few I'm sure, that don't pay attention. Plus, the Auburn drop and OK up 4 doesn't give me much faith in the rankings. I hate the idea of a set number from each conference, too. I agree with Conrad. Very frustrating to do what was needed scheduling and then just move on.
See, and that's my thing. If I'm Greg Sankey, I guess I look at it as, all right, we gave in to what you wanted. We have an even playing field. Why are you now moving the goalposts again? I would be furious if I was Greg Sankey.
Darren from Tennessee, Landrum, you're a straight savage for your Clark County comments. That was appropriate.
It was.
It's a darn shame working people have to supplement the wealthy to build a stadium.
So are we saying like the organizations themselves should have to pay for the stadium?
This is not Georgia guy, but this is Tommy in Mobile. Why does Ryan Williams paint his nails and carry around stuffed animals? I don't know.
I mean, he's explained both. Right?
Yeah, so the fingernails that's something his sister does for him. That's like how they bond. Which I mean, personally, I think that's sweet. And then the stuffed animal, he said it was some friend had given it to him, and he had some of the trainers at Alabama help decorate it for him, and I guess it brings him comfort.
Aubie by 6, says this listener. And here he is. Guy from the state of Georgia. I can tell that guy why.
Yes.
Oh.
No more bird jokes, though? Those were good.
Those were really good.
Very creative.
More of your texts as we continue throughout the program. Rodney Orr of Tider Insider. That place has been on fire this week. Big game coming up. We'll get Rodney's thoughts, his prediction for Alabama and Georgia. Also in the next hour, Rob Pate talking Auburn, Texas A&M. Busy Thursday. Glad you're with us here on 3-Man Front and your home for college football and more. Jocks.